From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
There's nothing like a ride on an old tractor.
So we decided to give enjoyment to kids.
How this tractor is helping to bring about a lot of smiles with every mile. New hope for getting things moving in and out again from the Port of Baltimore, as researchers look for answers in the fight against avian flu in dairy cattle.
The pasteurization process renders pathogens inactive, but it doesn't remove them from the milk.
The latest on what they know and what they're hoping to find out as this mystery continues to unravel right now on AgDay.
AgDay, presented by Pioneer. What's next happens when experience meets expertise. Pioneer. What's next happens here.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. USDA has ordered the testing of all milk from dairy cattle before they're moved across state lines. The new mandate, an effort to try and stop the spread of avian flu in dairy cattle. AgDay's Michelle Rook continues to cover this developing story for us. And Michelle, you talked with one researcher about what they're doing to help solve the mysteries surrounding H5N1.
Clinton, the U.S. dairy industry and the regulatory system are gearing up for increased testing of milk to detect H5N1 in dairy cattle following USDA's federal order. However, the scientists in the labs that are studying the virus and will be testing for and monitoring it say they're learning something new every day. Researchers continue to look for answers regarding the H5N1 virus, including why it targets lactating dairy cattle and the animal's mammary glands.
It seems to be hitting late lactation, mid to late lactation cattle a little harder than fresh cows, and then also older cows more than younger cows. And infectious diseases usually it would be the opposite. We think of younger animals without as much immunity to pathogens, and then also fresh cows from an immunocompromised standpoint would be affected.
While they've identified the symptoms of the virus, there are also cows that are asymptomatic.
From a clinical standpoint, clinically affected cows have a decrease in milk production, decreased feed intake, and there certainly seems to be some evidence, some good evidence for some cattle that don't undergo those clinical signs while they are dealing with an infection.
That is why virus fragments showed up in pasteurized milk, but yet the milk is still safe.
The pasteurization process renders pathogens inactive, but it doesn't remove them from the milk.
He says another mystery is how the virus is being spread, and that's why USDA is requiring increased milk testing.
The labs that are involved in testing are working hard to try to develop tools and develop confidence in the tools that we have to monitor animals, to appropriately assess their infection status, if they are currently infected or if they were previously infected.
These tools provide confidence, but there are still unanswered questions.
From a transmission standpoint, how is this getting into cattle? How is this getting to the mammary gland? And how is it moving between these sites?
H5N1 has not been found in beef cattle, but he says it can't be ruled out.
Admittedly, there hasn't been a lot of testing with it, but we also haven't identified a similar syndrome that was identified in dairy cows.
And the virus has also not been detected in meat, but Magstat says H5N1 is a weak virus that's easily killed with cooking, and that means the risk to the food supply remains low. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Now, Colombia has become the first country to block some U.S. beef products due to the outbreak of H5N1 in dairy cattle. That country blocking fresh or frozen beef and beef products from cattle slaughtered on or after April 15th in the 8 states where there have been positive cases in dairy herds. USDA's Food and Safety Inspection Service calling the restrictions temporary, adding it could result in shipments being held at port even if exporters have a valid import permit. The U.S. Meat Export Federation saying the U.S. sold about $40 million worth of beef to Colombia last year. That's out of total exports of nearly $10 billion. And following USDA's nationwide order regarding testing for lactating dairy cows, the North American Meat Institute says it is looking for some guidance as well. The group releasing a statement saying while properly prepared, beef remains safe to eat, it's calling on USDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to provide worker safety guidance specific to beef processors. It says the guidance is needed to ensure workers are protected from infection. Adding members will continue to work with USDA, local vets, and cattle producers to try and help stop the spread and ensure beef production continues. Now, it's estimated dairy cows make up 6.8% of total beef production in the U.S. And avian flu is once again driving up egg prices. As of Wednesday, a dozen large grade A eggs cost an average of $2.99. That's up nearly 16% from January. It comes after 8.7 million birds were impacted by avian flu just this month in Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, and Texas. It's still lower than the high of $4.82 for a dozen experienced back in January of last year. There looks to be some active weather across the midsection of the country. Meteorologist Martin Lormore has a look ahead.
Yeah, we're going to be watching as we head into our weekend for the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms, Clint, especially out toward parts of the country right in the middle of it. Central and southern plains, these areas going to be honestly pestered by these strong to severe thunderstorms all weekend long. As we get into our Friday afternoon, there's those storms sparking up across the Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas area. This is going to continue to make its way off to the east. More of these showers will make their way into the Great Lakes, but more of these showers and storms will eventually reinvigorate as we get into our Saturday morning with this next low pressure. Could bring some snow into the higher levels of the Rockies, but it's really this focus in the central part of the nation that we're watching. Could see the redevelopment of more of these showers and thunderstorms into our Sunday. This will continue even into our Monday. These low pressure systems keep pestering the central part of the country, already looking up to the Pacific Northwest for the next one. This is also still bringing in more of those showers and storms across parts of the Pacific Northwest. Now take a look at this right here. This one was sent in by Austin Wires. It's moments like this that, of course, are meant to be treasured. He's over in Nebraska. He's putting his little guy on the lap for a ride around the tractor. Isn't that cute? And by the sound of it, he does love it. Austin posting says, "Don't worry, Dad, I got this." Very cute. I'll have more on the forecast coming up.
The dispute with Mexico over GMO corn could reach a resolution by September. That's according to the Mexican economy minister. As you'll remember, this came about after Mexico issued a decree banning imports of GMO corn for food use. The U.S. arguing the decision was not based on scientific evidence. The U.S. taking issue with the announcement under USMCA rules. U.S. officials have said in the past they were optimistic about prevailing in the dispute. USDA also announcing a plan to invest more money in clean energy and biofuels. Deputy Secretary Xochitl Torres-Small announcing funding for more than 700 clean energy projects. It includes more than $194 million in loans and grants through REAP, or the Rural Energy for America program. The money will support projects in 35 states and Puerto Rico. USDA is also awarding more than $43 million in grants through the Higher Blends Infrastructure Incentive Program to business owners who increase the availability of domestic biofuels in 15 states. The first cargo ship left Baltimore Harbor following the Key Bridge collapse in March. The ship left the city's harbor alongside 2 tugboats. It traveled through a new temporary channel that was made around the wreckage of the bridge. The Maryland Port Administration says this channel will likely be open for about 4 days. Officials predict a more permanent channel will be available within the next 5 to 6 weeks. Crews have removed roughly 2,900 tons of wreckage from the area where a ship slammed into the bridge last month. 6 construction workers died in the collapse. The Dow dips more than 600 points during Thursday's trade. We'll check on commodity action coming up next. And later, these classic tractors aren't just one couple's treasure, they're a vehicle to creating lasting memories. That heartwarming story today in the country. Farm truck maker Ford admitting this week it faces headwinds in the electric vehicle market. The company reporting first quarter results. It says the EV unit reported losses of $1.3 billion while selling 10,000 vehicles. That's a loss of $132,000 on each sale. And the company says there's a lot of price pressure in this segment. A few weeks ago, the company cut 2/3 of its employees at the electric F-150 Lightning plant amid changing market dynamics and technology adjustments. However, overall truck sales for the company helped it to beat Wall Street's earning estimates for the first quarter. Also in business news, CNH Industrial announcing a new CEO. Garrett Marks will take over the role on July 1st. He steps in for Scott Wine, who is leaving to pursue other interests. Wine exits, having delivered 3 straight years of record revenues and more than doubled CNHI's R&D expenditures. Corn was back in positive territory on Thursday, and cattle followed suit. Michelle Rook is back with more in Markets Now.
Corn, wheat, and cattle all to the plus side on Thursday. Alan Brugler with Brugler Marketing joins us. All right, let's talk first of all, Alan, about the wheat market. We've been on quite a run here. Do you think we can keep going? Is this war and weather premium, or what's driving it?
I think it's a combination. You got some concerns about weather in eastern Ukraine and Russia, hurting the crop, the new crop there. You had the Russians attacking the Pivdeny port in Ukraine and screwing up some infrastructure there. You've got tighter old crop supplies coming into the end of the marketing year in both the EU and the US. So that should be supportive and should allow the US to get a little more export movement. You look at wheat export sales, it's mostly new crop already because your old crop's got to be shipped within 30 days to meet the definition of old crop. So, but you put all that together with a big fund short position before the bullish move started, and you got some nice technical buy signals.
So if wheat keeps going, can it pull corn up and over these channel resistance areas we keep hitting on the chart?
Corn is borrowing a little strength from wheat in terms of momentum, but I think a lot of the fundamentals in corn are their own animal. I mean, you got EPA giving you a few extra bushels of usage, probably from the E15 ruling, and you got really strong export sales potential. Not only this week, 10-week high, but I think very strong potential between now and mid-June for weekly export sales. And we need it to meet the USDA numbers, but if you're getting that demand, you've got more competition for cash grain movement, and that helps basis or it helps price.
And nice recovery in the cattle with the help of the cash market, right?
Cash market looks like $1 to $2 firmer this week. That's definitely a positive. The box beef numbers were old, but they didn't hurt us too much. Feeder cattle had a really stout performance back at the beginning of the week. And I think you got a little overreaction to the decision to do the influenza testing on cattle, dairy cattle that are moving interstate.
Alan Brugler with Brugler Marketing. We'll have more AgDay coming out.
To talk to Alan about his ag market professional services, call Brugler Marketing and Management at 402-697-3623 or visit his website, www.bruglermarketing.com.
Watch Markets Now with Michelle Rook on the Farm Journal YouTube channel, keeping you updated throughout the day on the markets at the open, midday, and close. Find out what moved the markets today and what to expect the market to do next.
Hey, welcome back. We're going to be talking more about that when we get into our forecast. Things are definitely very stormy across parts of the central part of the country. Areas up toward even the central plains. You can see this little area in that red. Nebraska, parts of Kansas, Missouri, and of course Iowa sitting in that where we could be seeing several of those severe thunderstorms. The rest of it in this yellow right here, looking at that possibility for more of these strong to severe thunderstorms. All the severe risks are going to be expected as we get into this next couple of days. And I say next couple of days because as we move into Saturday, we're not moving anywhere. These storms are going to stick around for the central part of the nation, right over parts of Tornado Alley, central Oklahoma, parts of eastern Kansas, even stretching into just a little bit of Missouri and Nebraska. But it's really this part of the country we're focusing on as we get into our weekend for that possibility of strong to severe weather. Again, including that possibility of tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, all of the above will be expected. But it's also bringing us a lot of rain. We could be seeing plenty of inches of rain falling in across the next several days. This is going to be, especially through into Sunday with that next good cold front that's going to try to push through. It's going to bring in several inches of rain through that Sunday. So it's something we're going to be watching because that flooding potential will be there as we get into our Friday, our Saturday, our Sunday. Each of these days could see heavy rainfall moving in. So this could pose a bit of a flooding risk for the central and southern plains. So if you are going to be possibly talking about planting, you might end up sadly delaying it a little bit more until this system moves its way on past. As we get into our jet stream, we're watching as this cold front does make its way through. This is that culprit bringing in a lot of that rain and storms. It will make its way across parts of the country, could bring a couple storms even up toward the Great Lakes, but still watching this jet stream make its way through, and we will start calming down as we get into our work week as temperatures start rising and humidity begins to build. Marshalltown, Iowa, high of only 59, looking pretty rainy all day long. Roswell, New Mexico, that's right, home of the aliens, high 84 degrees. They definitely need some rain there, but they're going to be staying sunny. Finally, Union, South Carolina, high 73, mostly cloudy.
New spray drones are hitting the market. We'll show them to you coming up next. And later, a tractor ride that is sure to put a smile on your face. Today in the country. They're fast becoming a popular smart farming tool. We're talking about drones, and two companies are releasing new models. We start with DJI announcing the international launch of the Agris T50 and the Agris T25 application drones. Officials say the T50 offers improved efficiency for larger scale growing operations, while the T25 is designed for smaller fields. DJI says it continues to put a high priority on data privacy by putting farmers and service providers in control of their data use. That includes no flight logs, photos or videos synced with DJI by default. And the drones are designed to store data locally on the remote control and on the drone. And Anzu Robotics announced its entrance into the drone market, launching two products, the Raptor and Raptor T. Anzu Robotics is a U.S.-based company. Tech Radar reports that Anzu is manufacturing its drones in Malaysia. Farm Journal's smart farming reporter Matthew Grassi says it may represent a new solution that potentially satisfies geopolitical and cybersecurity issues. It comes after the government voiced concerns about Chinese manufactured drones in critical infrastructure operations. Now, he says the software for these drones is entirely developed in the U.S. through a collaboration with another U.S. company. He has the Raptor series, combines enterprise-grade hardware with domestic, secure, and capable software. Well, not everyone grows up around cool equipment like drones and tractors. We'll show you how a Pennsylvania couple is sharing that equipment and putting smiles on faces next in the country. A Pennsylvania couple is bringing joy to others, and as Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan shows us, it's all thanks to an antique tractor.
The name says it all.
Rides for Smiles offers free rides to seniors, kids, and our veterans.
Rides for Smiles does just that, allowing every person a chance to experience the thrill of riding behind a tractor.
Instead of a big hayride, it focuses more on the individual. So everybody gets like their moment in the sun.
The joy Rides for Smiles brings has amounted to nearly 300 rides over the course of 3 years. And the story behind all of that started when Steve Van Splinter was drawn to this 1941 Ford 9N.
It was really in rough shape when we got it, non-running, flat tires, all of that. The paint was absolutely horrible. The carburetor was rusted shut from the collapse of the intake pipe, the air intake. It was a really nightmare. And we put a lot of time into it.
But after all that work, his wife had one simple question.
We had the tractor fixed up, and my wife said to me, well, now you have a tractor, what are you going to do with it? Well, I said, well, I don't know.
So with that, they made a little cart to take their grandkids for a ride.
Went around, and there was a little local girl riding her bike. And she was looking at the tractor. We said, hey, would you like a ride? She's like, yes. And she had the biggest grin the whole time. So we decided to give enjoyment to kids. And then it moved into seniors, and especially our nation's vets. And all for free.
The Van Splinters cover the expenses on their own, but donations are also a big help. Rides for Smiles spreads joy with one event a month. And for Steve, it's personal.
The mental health thing has to do with, we've had struggles in my family like a lot of others. With that, I had a friend that passed away under his own idea, which really wasn't fun to deal with. The other thing is that we also like to do it, that we do it for free.
A simple gesture that creates smile after smile and memories that extend for miles.
All right, thanks, Tyne, and that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.